We're there now.
All right.
All of a sudden, Wayne turns to go around. Hey, what's going on, Griswold?
Yeah.
It does. It's like, you son of a hey, what's going on, Griswold? Oh, my God. They should never have done that. Good to see you, Griswold. And the first person in the room, Scott Davis.
Scott Davis. Oh, yeah.
We were talking about you, Scott.
Yeah, he wants to see if we're going to slam him now that he's not in the room.
No. Not at all.
Now you got the pro in here. Everybody can hear.
I think so.
I think I've been calibrated now.
Y'all mess this shit up, dude. No, it wasn't anything that couldn't be fixed, obviously, in 2 minutes. So.
Yeah. And a loose jack. We found. We found. There you go.
That could have been moving the laptop back and forth. That could have. It was and I've had that happen.
So when Rich came in, I kind of moved the laptop a little bit so Rich could see seen on the camera, right?
Yeah.
So I probably loosened the jack up. Gotcha. I know now.
So loosen the jack up, and when you turned it, it was
the sound of silence.
I was going to say, no, I can't do that. What are you talking about? It's the internet. We can do whatever the hell we want.
Yeah.
So, good morning, gentlemen. How are you? How was your weekend? Great. Good morning, Griswold.
Saturday was wet.
Oh
Everybody knows. And Sunday was nice. A little windy, but it was nice. Got a workout in and spent some time with the grandkids. How about you, Paul?
My grandkids are all growing up doing their own thing.
Hold on a second here. 1, 2, 1, 2. Paul, talk.
Uh-oh. I'm off air, I guess.
No, it's just y'all turned your microphones off. Hold on. Go ahead, talk.
Testing
Paul.
1, 2. Testing. Oh, man.
Here we go again.
Here we go again.
Try again, Paul.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
No. Try it.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, boy.
Well, Paul, I don't know what you did.
I didn't do anything. Look, you sitting here.
It's just Paul's mic. 1, 2. My microphone's working fine. Now you talk.
1, 2, 1, 2.
You're fine too.
That was coming in, that's for sure. Well, before you go, let's move west.
Try it out, Paul.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Once I caught a fish alive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I don't know that song.
I don't know either.
Let him go again.
I'm sorry.
The heck?
I don't know why.
You still don't have them?
No. Try now.
1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, well.
Unplug your microphone. Here, let me see it. We're going to figure this out.
Sound of silence.
Technical difficulties again.
Every day, man. What's going on?
Anyway, how about them UConn girls and men over the weekend?
1,
2, 1, 2.
They're both moving on. I think the women play tonight against Syracuse.
Syracuse is a rough team.
Are they? I don't know. They're still favored by 20. I looked at the odds. UConn's favored by 20.
Oh, I know what the problem is.
Yeah.
Like this way. That's what happened. There we go. Yeah. This Syracuse is tough. I mean, when I say tough, physically tough.
Yeah.
You know, they're pretty brutal. Yeah. So what are you gonna do?
I don't know. Let's see. UConn plays San Diego State, I think, Thursday.
The men.
Yeah, the men.
Yeah.
The women play tonight.
If they win tonight, they would play Duke.
The women?
Yeah, Duke won.
Yeah.
They think they beat a number 2 seed.
Hmm.
Where it goes, Mo.
Try it out, Paul.
1, 2, 1, 2.
There you go.
Is it working?
I think so. Can y'all hear Paul okay?
Another loose connection.
Can you hear yourself? Hold on, Paul.
1, 2, 1. See, I can't tell because he's coming through, but I'm not. 1, 2.
1, 2, 1, 2. Hold on.
1. That's right. Whatever. I'll just have to yell. Huh.
That's why. Try now, Paul.
1, 2. 1, 2. I think
Much better.
I think so.
Okay.
Oh, whatever. Something happened. They turned me
All
off.
right.
Oh, they lose power.
Sounds good now.
All right.
Okay, good. Excellent. Yeah, we got that figured out.
All right. So coming on this morning, we have a friend of mine who used to work together, and Facebook user says, "I can hear Paul now."
Good.
Good. There we go.
Yeah.
We have a friend of mine that's coming on. We've had him on a few times. His name is Brian Culpin, and he is.
Where is he?
Don't know.
Don't know.
I do not know right now. I
Oh.
do not know right now.
Oh, this is the guy who's got the moving
Yeah,
trailer that drives all over the place.
He's
with his family.
probably someplace where it's warm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll find out in
Yeah.
a second when Brian pops in here.
Yeah.
He'll be
Okay.
in just a couple of minutes. But every time we have him on, it's really cool because we don't know where he is. I mean, before he's been in Mexico,
He's
he's
in
been
Mexico.
in Canada, he's been in Florida.
I bet he's in Florida.
All right.
That's my guess because it's warm.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Georgia.
You're gonna say Georgia?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
say Georgia.
I was probably going to go with Florida too, to be honest with you. But I honestly do not know where he is. I was talking to him yesterday because we keep in contact because we're both pissed off at the Red Sox because they've done nothing and they pretty much guaranteed themselves last place once again this year. And so we keep talking, back and forth and then hey, it's time for you to come back on again. And
So the Red Sox, when they won, what was it last time? It was 2018, something like that.
I think so, yeah. When was the last time
They
Yankees won?
basically traded the world out there and wiped out their minor league,
You're right.
right, to win that championship.
Yep.
And so
That
what
is
they've
true.
been doing in the last 3-4 years is rebuilding that, the minor league and the young talent, and try to run a little cheaper and
Well, and then-
thinner.
The funny thing is that the guy that they got, Chaim Bloom, to come in and actually rebuild that farm system, because he said, I need 5 years. On the 5th year, they fired him. Now, they still haven't done anything. So they've got one of the better farm systems in baseball right now.
Yeah, well, a lot of these major markets have very little patience. You
Yeah.
see the same thing even in college. You don't win in college in 2-3 years, you're gone. And if you've got a crappy program, it's going to take longer than that to build that up. So
Does baseball have a cap on money? Is there a cap?
There's not a
No,
cap.
it's a tax
It's a
thing.
tax. It's a luxury tax that you go over,
You go over a certain amount of money, you got to pay more money in a luxury
Oh,
tax.
which is big money, too.
And there's other ways you can restructure. Some of these guys that have been retired for like 10 years are still getting paid
Oh,
by ball clubs. Like the Red Sox, I
Yeah.
think, are still paying Manny Ramirez for another year or so.
wow.
Yeah.
Who's it? Not Bonds. And maybe is it Bonds?
Hmm.
Bonilla. He's still getting paid by the Pirates.
Yeah.
It's like 2032.
Wow.
Yeah. So like Ramirez is getting like $1 million a year for till
Wow.
25, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. As far as the microphone being a problem, Peggy says, "Free Paul."
That's right. Locked behind the cage.
Nobody puts Paul on mute. That's what she says.
Mike's got the buttons. He can put anybody on mute if he wants.
Yeah, I can.
Dennis says, "Do you need me to come and fix it?" I got it. Good
Could have used you Friday, maybe.
Good morning, Laura. Good morning, Jennifer. Good morning. I feel like Romper Room. Whenever I do that. You remember the show Romper Room? And I see Wayne. And
Yeah.
I see Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Squeeze that.
I see the chicken. There we go.
Squeeze it. Clarabelle.
Clarabelle, that's right. That's a different show, though.
Oh,
Was
okay.
that Clarabelle?
And you know who else I see? I see Brian.
All right.
There's Brian.
Good morning.
How are you?
How's everybody doing?
Good. Look at the clocks behind you. Is that new?
Yeah, I'd say probably within the last 6 months or so, maybe a year.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I lose track of time.
So I know you guys can't see, but behind him has a bunch of analog clocks that show the different time zones.
Oh,
Kind of like if you were watching Weekend Update on Saturday Night Live with Dan Aykroyd.
as you-
Jane, you ignorant slut.
well,
We
as you
usually
move
have an
around the
indicator
country,
to tell which time zone we're in, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure where that went.
Or
So-
dimension, because Mike's in the
Yeah,
dimensions
Could
too.
be in
you
a
know.
different dimension, Brian.
Yeah, could
Have
be.
you ever
You
some
never
time
know.
zones? Have you just spanned time?
Yeah, I mean it's part of the adventure. With time zones for us, we've actually developed a favorite time zone. That's the mountain time, mainly for sports.
Why?
but
What is best about mountain time?
Sports. It's like the perfect. You're on the West Coast Pacific time. Sports start way too early, but mountain time, at least being a East Coast.
Now, don't
sports
say
fan.
where you are right now yet.
All right.
All right.
Being an East Coast sports fan, being on the West Coast, you're watching the Red Sox or whatever at 4:00 in the afternoon. Whereas mountain time, it's right around dinner time or right after dinner, and it's perfect.
So there are some people in the chat room right now that have been following Brian and his family's adventure, through his multiple visits here on the show. And Victoria goes, "Where's Brian now?"
I saw a guess come through, and there was a guess that was correct. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
yeah.
I didn't see.
Or maybe I read you through the closed caption thing. So
Oh, all right. So Paul and I both had the same guess. So, and you said Georgia, right?
I said Georgia. Yeah.
All right. So we're not saying yet, but for those of you who have not followed the story, Brian, why don't you just kind of give us a brief overview
sure.
of when this started and what you're doing?
Yeah, so we came up with the plan in 2018, so pre-COVID, and then during COVID, 2020 is when we actually hit the road. We left from Connecticut, and I know Mike back in our Verizon days, and we've been traveling nonstop basically since September of 2020.
And they're
It's
all
been a
around,
blast.
not just the United States.
Yeah, I mean, we spent collectively we spent about 7 months, I believe, total in Mexico, in that time frame, and then about a month or two in Canada. So
Now,
been
I
fun.
know you loved Canada. I mean, you loved Mexico.
we did.
Tell us a
We're-
little bit about Mexico, about the experience there.
Yeah, so we were down in the Baja Peninsula. This past winter, we went down again. We were down in Mulegé area, so not quite as far back as we went. Can you still see me? Not quite as far back as we went the year prior. We went all the way down to La Paz, which is basically as far as you can go in an RV. But we just fell in love with it. The culture there is fantastic. Everybody will lend you a hand no matter what. If they don't know you, they can't communicate with you without using Google Translate. It's just everybody's so nice.
We use hand signals here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit different here in Connecticut, though.
Especially on the road.
Baja's, I don't know if it's considered a third world country, but there's a lot of poverty there. So just being able to go there and help the local communities out and spend our money down there, it's just fantastic. Great feeling too.
So it's not just Brian and his wife Courtney. It's how many boys now?
We have 4 boys and 1 dog.
And a what?
1 dog.
One dog.
Yeah.
What a goat? You got a goat? I mean, you were in
No
Mexico.
goats.
I mean, you didn't get a goat.
No.
They have goats there, I guess. Got goats. How old are the boys now?
Oh, you're testing me. Let's see. Tegan's 11. He'll be 12 in April, so a couple weeks. Barrett's 9. Lincoln's 5. He'll be 6 in April, and Remington's 3. He'll be 4 in May.
So the youngest 2. This is kind of what they know.
Yeah, pretty much all he knows. We hit the road when he was, 6 months old. So
Wow.
he's thriving.
What's that?
He's thriving. He's got
thriving?
quite the arm now too. He's going to be a baseball player.
Not bad. Not bad. Well, I mean, hey, why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Speaking of baseball, guess who the Red Sox signed today?
Nobody.
Nobody. They signed nobody.
I don't want to
So,
get too off
how
track,
big is-
but man, the Red Sox, what are they doing? You know, or what are they not doing?
I have no idea. Do you blame ownership or do you blame Breslow or
Ownership.
are they just pissed
It's-
off at Raffy Devers, for opening his mouth? Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? We'll be lucky to get out of the basement again.
It's terrible. But we signed a pitcher in his 40s or something.
Yep.
To me, that's not bad.
Hey, as long
I'm
as-
58, that's great. He's a young kid.
As long as they get the TV contracts and they get the stands filled, they really
They don't
don't care.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pink Red Sox
The
hats.
sad
everywhere.
truth.
Huh?
The sad truth. We're taking the family to a game this year reluctantly. If I didn't have to give them, one of our travel goals is to hit all the stadiums, and we're going to a lot this year. We've already been to 12 as a family.
Wow.
Courtney and I have been to a couple more than that. But yeah, Red Sox are on our plans because we're going to be up in Connecticut for a couple months this summer. And
Really?
yeah,
Are you going to be around here?
yeah, I'm going to be very close to you.
Do you think that you'd be able to come into the studio one day?
Sure.
Oh,
Sure.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
Are you gonna
basically,
be, like Courtney's house or Courtney's parents'
Yep.
house. Okay,
Yep.
all right, I got you. All right.
Yep. Yeah, basically the whole month of June and July. I think I'm flying out to Seattle a week in July, but we'll be available.
Got it.
What'd you say? You're flying out where?
To Seattle. My parents live in Seattle.
Yeah, well, that's where my mom lives. Yeah. So,
Your mom.
yeah, my mom lives in Seattle, just outside Seattle. So.
Gotcha. So how big is the trailer?
Officially, I believe they have it down as 36 and a half feet. With the bumper and the spare tire on the back, where we call ourselves 38 feet. So,
So you get 6 humans and a dog.
Wow,
Yep.
it's tight.
How do you guys? I still have not figured. Honestly, Brian, I think it's cool, but I still haven't figured out the logistics.
so our bunk. So a couple things to consider. We have opposing slides, so when we're parked, it's. I mean, I say huge inside, but it doesn't feel tight inside at all.
Or is it just because you're used to it?
It could be because we're used to it.
Okay.
I think.
It's not a bad thing. I mean,
Yeah, we have our space. We never feel like there's a lack of space for us. The kids are in a bunkhouse that also has a slide, so their space is, quite honestly, for an RV is considered pretty big. And yeah, we always joke when we sold our house, we had one TV in our house in Lebanon, and moved into the RV, and we had 4 TVs. We're down to 3 now. So more TVs per square inch or square foot than in our house.
everybody's got the AirPods on. What?
Yeah, right.
Goodness. Now, obviously, you're homeschooling.
Yep.
And how is that going? Especially like with Tegan. Tegan's the oldest.
Great. So for a little bit, we were, I guess, self-facilitating it. We found, just learning through the process that Tegan was going through, that he needed a little bit more structure. So we shifted him to an online curriculum that's completely led by an instructor, and he loves it. Barrett is doing the same thing, and I think they both enjoy it. Realistically, it takes Barrett about 2 hours a day to finish his school, and they do Monday through Friday, just like a traditional school. But the only difference is they do it year round. So even though it sounds, only 2 hours a day, they're doing it. There's no summer break. So
Like August 6th, they're in school.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Tegan's a little bit longer. I think his classes are a little bit more challenging. So his typically takes about 3 hours, maybe 4 hours if he has a stumble on a course or something like that. But we love it because we can really track in real time how they're doing and see where we need to intervene. And they also can request a tutor and stuff like that. So it's a little bit more pricey than what we were doing before, but it's working out great.
Wayne, do you have any questions, or Paul, do you have any questions other than where he is? Because we have not revealed where he is yet.
How can your wife handle so many men?
Yeah, I know. Even our dog's a male. She's outnumbered. No, I, I don't know. She's great. She's a champ. So
Well, I guess it's better than 3-4 girls in there trying to share one shower or whatever. or
Right,
one
right.
bathroom. Oh my God.
it's funny. We actually met a family who has all girls, and they bought their RV with 2 bathrooms, not considering that all of their daughters were in that 11 to 12 year range. They're like, yeah, both bathrooms are tied up nonstop. So thankfully they got the 2.
Never mind somebody that actually has to go to the bathroom.
But aren't you in campgrounds? So the campgrounds have got restaurant
Yeah.
facilities and showers.
Yeah.
It's
And
really
and we're in one now. I can't say what state yet, but we're in one now, and the bathroom facilities are fantastic. So
Very, very good. I just think this is amazing. So this was this was something you were planning. Was it 2 years?
yeah, so I would say definitely 2018 when Lincoln was born. As you know, I was still with Verizon, and Verizon had
I
actually
left about a year before that, right?
yeah, sounds right. Maybe yeah, probably about a year. But yeah, to make a long story short, we Verizon gave me 8 weeks off when Lincoln was born, and we took that. So I took 2 weeks when he was first born, and then waited a month or 2, and then took the last 6 weeks. And those 6 weeks we spent on the road, not in an RV, but we just traveled at Airbnb down the East Coast. Couldn't really go too far in 6 weeks, but we fell in love with traveling and just being together nonstop. So, just like anybody coming back from vacation, miserable. I always called it vacation hangover, and Courtney and I just made it a goal in the next 2 years. We're gonna figure something out where we can hit the road and travel and yeah. So
that's what you did.
Yep, that's what we did.
And
COVID definitely sped up the process, 100%. Because not to call COVID a blessing, but it did kind of bless our family because Courtney was able to work remotely, and she still does work remotely, and it just kind of made it so way more possible a lot sooner. So and more comfortable. That's it.
You have something?
No.
Okay. I just think that's really cool that I'm just this whole adventure that you guys are on. It's first of all, you guys have like figuratively like big huge balls, to actually do this, and I think it's awesome. I'm not kidding when I say that, Wayne. Our family I'd actually talked to Melissa about it maybe we should think about something like this. And she's like, no.
I don't even bring that up to my wife.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I could.
No, you can't.
Not
No.
right. Well, thanks, Paul. Thanks for telling me what you cannot do.
I know you. I don't think you'll be able to do it.
You don't need to dive head first in. You could always start, a lot of people do this part-time, just go out and for a month or so and explore as much as possible and come back to your stable house. It's,
I think
it's
Paul's
doable.
right. As of right now, I could not do it, but I think in a couple of years, or say 3-4 years, yeah.
Just make sure you do it before you get too old, because then it'll be stressful.
I think he's right. You just try it. Rent an RV and you try it for a couple months, 2-3 months to see if you like it or if it's going to work for you. Probably.
See, my thing is Benny
Go back and forth.
and Rihanna.
Well, it's the same thing with us, with our
Chelsea's,
kids. Yeah.
our
grandkids.
Nick's already in Kansas, so it's kind of like I've already got used to that,
Yeah.
But my daughters are here. Who one knows I love her, the other one could care less if I loved her. No, I don't think so. You figure out which one that is. And then of course my grandson, which I just couldn't. I mean, I don't know what I. Yeah. So all right, Paul, you're right. So
Yep.
shut up. Let's see, Brian. Daryl says that Mike, his call is coming from inside the studio. Scream reference. So Daryl thinks he's actually here in another room.
Oh,
We've set the clocks up, and here we go. So Brian, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in a second, and we're going to discuss where you are. And actually, folks, drop it in the chat room right now. What state do you think Brian and his family are in right now? So we'll be back in a second, and we'll find that out as we continue to find out where's Brian right here on SNSN.
New year, same problem. These insurance prices always seem to be on the rise. Is it simply the company you're with, or is there more you can be doing to manage your insurance cost? Call the Burns Agency today and let our qualified staff walk you through coverage options, eligible discounts, and other cost savings. You can reach us at burnsagency.com, by phone, or better yet, stop by our convenient locations in Norwich and Dayville. The Burns Agency, proudly serving Eastern Connecticut since 1932.
Jewett City Savings Bank's commitment to helping local businesses fuel growth was recognized by the Small Business Administration and readers of the Commercial Record. We invite you to put our winning commercial lending team to work for your business. Because when local businesses succeed, we all win. To learn more, visit jcsbank.com. Jewett City Savings Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
If you're talking, they will hear you.
Why are we getting killed like this?
Kyle's not here. Got caught drinking beer in the park a couple of nights ago.
Really?
Yeah, 0 tolerance. He's out for the season.
Harsh.
Hey, he knew not to drink. We've made that clear to all of our kids, right?
No, not really.
Bill, if we don't tell them what we expect and why they shouldn't drink, how are they gonna know?
Talk. They hear you. For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
You try.
To visit the dentist. In a word, yes. Especially if that dentist is Dr. Katzoff and the staff at Griswold Dental Associates. They follow all the latest safety protocols while doing what they do best, taking care of you. From preventive to restorative, your dental care couldn't be in better hands. To schedule your appointment, call Griswold Dental Associates today, 860-376-2626. That's 860-376-2626.
All right, we do want to go ahead and thank our supporters of the morning show, which also support our high school baseball schedule, which actually starts this Saturday. We will be in Old Lyme, Connecticut, so we'll be traveling kind of like Brian, just not that far, against Griswold Old Lyme.
Taking the van down?
Yeah, we're going to down by the river. It's going to be Old Lyme against Griswold, and that's going to be the season opener, and that'll be 4 p.m. on Saturday. We will be live here. Nobody has decided to throw a guess on exactly where Brian happens to be right now.
Somebody knocking on the door?
I don't know. So anyway, Lillian says in one of the that's all right. Now all of a sudden here. No,
Everybody woke up.
Time delay.
Yeah. Lillian says in one of the Carolina states, we did an RV adventure for 6 months, and my husband talked me to move to Arizona. I still want to return to Griswold. Daryl says South Dakota. Dennis says Tennessee. Laura says Georgia, and Peggy says Montana. I'm going to go with Georgia. You are
Georgia.
Florida.
You're saying Florida. And the reason why I said Georgia, Brian, and I said this during the commercial break. You couldn't hear me?
No, I couldn't hear you.
Okay. And this is probably, and I just said, well, I know he's a baseball fan. Maybe he's there in Georgia to catch a game with the Savannah Bananas.
I wish you got to give up a child to go to those games. I guess.
What's that?
You have to give up a child to go to one of those games. I hear.
That's what I hear. That's what I.
Yeah.
But didn't you? I thought you sold 2 children to get on the road. So, Rachel says Ocracoke Island, North Carolina. Okay. All right. So, Brian, it is now time to reveal where are the Culpins.
We're in the Panhandle of Florida, so we've been here almost 2 months. we actually spent a great deal. Like I said earlier, we spent a great deal of the winter in Baja, and then we explored Texas quite a bit. It was our first. Up until this year, we've driven through the I guess you'd call it the panhandle of Texas at the top there, but never really dove into Texas. And this year we spent quite a bit, probably a month and a half around Texas and
Avoided
landed
the border.
in Panhandle,
So
Right.
what state was that again?
Florida.
Panhandle of Florida,
Florida.
which is actually annexed by Georgia.
Annexed by Georgia. So
Yeah,
I'm
we-
assuming you're gonna like come up the East Coast, and that's when you're gonna. So that's you'll be here in June, July.
Yeah, so we just wrapped up. We're here because we had an event here with 103 families, so it was chaos the last month. There's probably
Wow.
still about 40 of them here, and then we'll leave here. We're going to Arkansas for the eclipse, and then going to hit up the hot springs there in Arkansas, Hot Springs National Park, and then we're actually coming back down to Georgia, to Atlanta to catch a Braves game to cross that one off our list.
Yeah, my son lives like right down the street from that stadium. Matter
The
of fact,
Braves?
Battery
Nice.
Park. He was right there.
Nice.
Actually downtown, really, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and then we're gonna make our way slowly up the East Coast, and I think we're slated to be in Connecticut beginning of June. So.
Yeah,
So
Braves.
we won't be around till like second week of June because we're gonna be on a van on a cruise.
Lucky you.
No van there. There was a question that somebody asked that I skipped over, but not because I didn't want to ask you. It was just because our conversation went in different directions. But how many miles on the truck?
I actually just did an oil change on it yesterday. I believe we're at 178,000. So
Wow.
See, I would have thought there would be more than that.
178,000. You've had it how many years? 4 years? 5 years?
4 years.
4 years?
We bought it used. It had about 65,000 on it when we bought it. So we put a little over 100,000 on it.
That's a lot less than I would have thought, Brian, that you put on with all the traveling that you've done. Or have you had a second truck?
No, it's our only vehicle. We in the last 6 months or so, we've discussed possibly getting a second vehicle, just to take some of the wear and tear off of it. But it's a diesel truck. It's running great. It's a 2015 Ram 2500, and knock on wood, haven't had any issues. It's been great.
I remember one of the things that you had said when you first started this, that this was going to be a 2-year trip. And then after the 2-year or close to the 2-year mark was coming up, you had I guess you had a family meeting and you decided what?
We're on the road indefinitely. I will say we're wrapping up the lower 48 this year, so we'll have all 48 done, and then we're gonna continue RVing probably for another year or so, but at least another year or so, I'd say. But we do have a long-term plan of I think I talked about it last time I was on the show, but potentially getting on the water.
No,
on a
not
boat.
really.
Yeah, we want to do the Great Loop on a boat.
Oh yeah, you did say that.
Yep, and then if we like that, because for those that don't know, the Great Loop is basically it's a challenge, but it's a good intro into boat life. Basically, there's a community of people. They meet down in the Keys. They go up the East Coast and then cross through into the Great Lakes, down the Mississippi, and then they're back in the Keys eventually. So from what I understand, you can see land most of the time. It has a lot of similarities to RVing because you can basically just go into marina at will and you're back on land. But so that's one of our long-term goals. We want to wait till our youngest is a little bit older to do that. And our oldest is a little older too, so he can help out at a higher capacity. But we're loving RVing. There's no reason for us to stop. I mean, it's a blast. Like I said, we're here with 103 families recently, and
it's a community. That's what I've learned from you. It's a community that goes from place to place, and It's like a
Yeah.
moving caravan almost.
I got a question.
Yes.
I got a question. So, it's you're traveling all over the place. How do you handle doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so we kind of time those when we're in Connecticut, or if we have to go to a doctor, of course, we just find a local doctor. But yeah, we just time them when we're back in Connecticut, and that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
And I've asked this question many times. I think pretty much almost every time you're on, and I would think, just like as being a parent, this answer may change from time to time, or maybe it just progresses. You have your youngest is almost a teenager.
Oldest
And
is almost a teenager.
yeah, what did I say? Youngest?
You said youngest.
Oh,
Oldest.
That would have been weird.
Ryan, you're older than you think. No.
So your oldest son is almost a teenager. I'm thinking the older that he gets, the more he's gonna want his own space without his little brothers.
Yeah.
Has that started to rear its head yet, or
Not at all, actually.
okay?
I'm sure, like I've said on this call before, we speak as a family pretty freely. So if there ever becomes a time when we need to make adjustments, changes, or whatever like that, then we'll assess that. But there's tons of families that travel. Actually, so Courtney and I, we work for an organization that does. It's called Full Time Families. It's for people that RV as a family, and there's a community in itself, really, of just parents of teens that travel. There's actually an event coming up here in Georgia in May, beginning of May, that it's around 50 families, and all of them have at least one teen. So what kind of happens at these events is you have your normal, I guess, icebreaker community type activities. But then after the event, a lot of times families will be like, "Hey, I like you," and they'll travel a whole year together. So that aspect of it, the socialization aspect of it with teens is not lacking at all. In fact, I personally think it's stronger than being in a normal house. But
So what happens? I know this is I'm not being sarcastic, but I'm really curious. I mean, I guess that pretty much wipes out the whole teen pregnancy rate.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
that or that possibility. But
Yeah,
I don't know about you, but when I was 14, 15 years old, if I was going to do something like that, I was going to go behind a tree. I didn't care.
Well, I think their kids have been doing this so long now that this is their way of life. That's what they're exposed to. They're not exposed to this, stationary in one place, and they build relationships constantly in one place. They're traveling all over. They meet all kinds of different people, different kids. So they're adjusting to that. So I don't know if they're going to run into the normal social issues that, we run into living in the same area for so many years.
I agree with that 100%. Another observation that we have with the kids that kind of grow up in this lifestyle is they get used to learning, or I guess becoming friends with people quickly. So because most of the time they know that there's time is limited, right? So I feel like RVing kids are actually more outgoing and quicker to break the ice, I guess is the way I would put it, than what I experienced back at our house.
So it's funny because this is a perfect opportunity because a gentleman just walked in the studio who happens to be a television producer. What do you think about families at RV?
Families at RV?
All over the place. They just go from place to place to place to place.
Does upside down pineapple mean anything to you?
Yes. Brian's smirking too.
Oh gosh.
Brian, that's a relevant kind of question. I mean,
here we go.
No,
Nice family type conversation.
Stop. not like that. It's not like that. Are there relationships that form? I'm not saying you, and I'm not saying your family at all. But are there relationships as you move from family to family, or well, no, that's the obvious thing. As you move from state to state, place to place, do relationships start that maybe would be unhealthy, but whatever, that's as what society would say. But
I mean, yeah, I'm sure it happens. Just like any community, when you get a bunch of people together, things happen. But nothing that I've experienced, nothing that I'm personally aware of. But I'm sure it happens.
Sorry, man. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I was just kidding. I didn't know you'd run with it.
No, but those people that are into that kind of feel each other out and they congregate, and people that aren't into it, they congregate with the people that aren't into it.
So, right, exactly.
No, I'm just,
self-regulation.
I'm just thinking if you're involved in a community,
yep,
and you see the same people, I mean, much like a neighborhood, right? I would assume that's kind of like a traveling neighborhood.
Yeah.
That things could happen.
Yeah,
things could happen.
Anything can happen. It happened here.
As much as we try to normalize it during this conversation, there's a lot of things I'm sure that are different. Brian, what's the big difference than just living on suburban United States?
I think the biggest difference is that you're, I mean, barring you have two families settle down somewhere, you're going to have to say see you later or goodbye at some point. We travel with a few families fairly regularly, but we also have many times where we split off, and it's just part of the thing. And the kids are used to that. They know what happens, but they also know that we make it a point to meet back up with them at some point. I would say that's the biggest difference. Another big difference for me is, I mean, the overall housework maintenance aspect. There's like almost, I don't want to say none in an RV, because there are things that break. These things aren't designed to live in, and they're not designed to live in full time. That's for sure. But I spend way less time. I don't have to mow any grass or weed whack or anything like that. I think that's it. We live, a lot of people have this perception of people that full-time RV as like we're always camping, but we're not. We don't have campfires every day. Of course, the occasional, but
I would have thought that.
It's rare. In the last month, I'd say we had more than we normally do, but that's just because it's a community event, and typically I'd say we'd have maybe one or two a month, almost like what I would envision somebody that lives in a house would. And other than that, we're just living our normal life, just in a different location every week or 2 weeks.
So I want to jump back into like professional your professional lives, being on the road and stuff. Now I know you're an educated guy, because we worked together for quite some time.
Yep.
And I mean, Courtney is as well. So what are you doing to sustain a certain lifestyle? I know you said you work for
full-time families.
Families, and Courtney's doing. She's an accountant, is it, or she's?
Yes.
Okay.
So she does budgeting, budget analysis for a company, and they're based out of France actually, but they have a division that's headquartered in Connecticut, and that's what she did before we hit the road, and she has a good situation with them now. And for full-time families, I guess we work as a team. We do work as a team in that, but we just create events and host events. So we hosted the one here that had 103 families, and throughout the year we create more and collect hosts, I guess is the way you'd say it, and have hosts. So we're not out every single one. We have hosts that host them for us, and that's what we do.
Now, are you? I mean, this is none of my business, but I'm going to ask it anyway. I mean, are you able to go ahead and, is it enough to like save money, put it aside?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're independently wealthy. That's cool.
Yeah, I got a question. So you guys do a lot of stuff online. So traveling around, do you have issues trying to get satellite or internet?
No, so we use Starlink. As long as we have a clear enough view of the sky, I guess. So we are picky based on the campground. A lot of people look for camping in the woods. We unless there's cell service, we really can't do that. So we'll find somewhere where there's more open sky. And then we also use T-Mobile as our cellular option. And between the two, we never have any issues.
Okay.
Of course,
I'm sure there's some blind spots in the country. No matter where you go, you probably got it all mapped out, right?
Yeah. And Starlink was huge in Baja because cell service down there is almost non-existent unless you're in the major areas. And so to be able to connect with Starlink was fantastic. But yeah, hasn't been an issue.
Justin, do you have any questions?
I just walked out. I thought you guys started at 10. So.
Well, so did Mike. There, we had to wake him up. I had to text him.
Showtime, buddy.
Let's go. Do you have a question? They travel. They've got their 4 boys with them, and
where's he at now?
We just found out he's in the Panhandle of Florida.
Florida, Bama.
Florida, Bama.
Yeah,
nice.
Probably about 4 hours from Bama, but we're going to Alabama
to
Thursday.
Florida. You're not way out on the edge.
No, we're about an hour. I guess it would be hour east of Tallahassee.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no,
so it's cold here today. It's gonna be 80, but the wind is cold. 2020.
2020. Wow, so 4 years of driving around, and you have a whole family with you.
Yep.
Yeah,
4 boys.
4 boys, a dog, a llama, and a goat.
Yeah, congratulations.
No llama, no goat, but
no llama, no goat.
I only go home on the weekends.
You live locally, or do you?
Yes and no. Yeah.
Yes and no. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I had no idea.
Yeah, we have a place up in Southwick, Mass, but also I stay down here during the week because my office is in Norwich.
Okay. Oh, so like right in the farm?
Yeah, we're in the Wick, dude. Right by the dirt bike track. Yeah.
Nice. Brian, anything else that you want to let us know? I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing you. Hopefully, we can, get together when you get up here in June, July. I know you said you had to go to. You're going to be going out to Seattle for a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, we should have plenty of time between the 2 months that we're up there, minus the 1 week. I know you said you're not going to be there till mid-June, but we're looking forward to it. We haven't been in Connecticut long term for a while. Courtney flies back a couple times a year, I'd say.
Okay.
In fact, she was just there. I guess it was January. We were near San Antonio, and flights were stupid cheap. We got round trip from San Antonio for $165. So we ended up flying Courtney, Lincoln, and Barrett all went to Connecticut. So all of our kids have been on an airplane
in New Haven.
Oh crap!
Groton. It flies out of Groton, I think. Groton or New Haven?
No, it's New Haven. It's out of
Tweed. It's like $80 to anywhere you want to go.
A Velo.
That's it. Yeah.
I did fly a Velo,
and
that's some scary shit.
I was gonna say you lived. I mean, couldn't be that bad.
But did you die? No. Here's what happened with the Velo is that we flew out of Tweed, and we were going to Disney World. So we got there, and the flight down was great. So we get on.
What'd you pay for it?
Oh my goodness! It was $70 one way.
Yeah.
It was nothing. It was dirt cheap. But they don't fly in a whole lot of different places. It's great if you're going to go to Florida or whatever. But
you fly with like chicken coops next to you. It's like
kind of. On the way back, it was
yeah.
On the way back, we're up there for about an hour, and they go, we gotta go back, turn around, because apparently one of the wing flaps wasn't working. It took us 2 hours to go back to Orlando. I'm like, this doesn't make a lot of sense. Because I guess the plane, they said right out.
Yeah, wing flaps are important, I would think.
They said right out. They said it wouldn't handle the turbulence. We're like, oh, great.
While you were in the air?
While we were in the air.
Jeez.
So we got back. So we're all like scared shitless, right? And we finally get there. They bring us a new plane, and we get home. But this is the real scary part is that the runway at Tweed is short.
It's pretty short.
So when you hit ground,
someone's driveway.
It's right next to somebody's driveway. That's the funny thing. And I'm not kidding you. When you hit, It's like, I mean, you're like, whoa! You almost like whiplash
See,
because
the cartoons when they hit the brakes and the asphalt starts ribboning up.
Oh, did the door stay on?
the door stayed on.
How
but,
are you looking then?
but if you're looking out the
And the wheel
window,
would fall off.
if you're looking, this is the scary part. Also, is that if you're looking out the window, there's a residential area right in front of you.
Yeah.
It's like,
A lot of people bitching about
Imagine
that.
somebody sitting in their pool and here comes this plane almost in their backyard, and the nose of the plane comes right over the pool.
I think that would be kind of cool for a little bit.
I don't think it would be
That's it.
cool in any kind of
I
bit.
just noticed what's this on the side of your face?
What?
He's in June the vampires are
What?
You got a blood run down your neck.
Did I?
Yeah.
Still do?
I think you make yourself shave and then it dried. It's like down to here.
Oh yeah.
Brian's bleeding.
Oh.
I mean, Wayne's bleeding.
All right.
Not you, Brian.
Okay.
So, what's next? Like now, you're in Florida. You're going to be there
Yep.
for how long?
Only till Thursday. We're going to Alabama on Thursday for about a week. Then going to Arkansas for the eclipse, up to Connecticut. And then after Connecticut, we're shooting over to Detroit, Minnesota to hit the Tigers and the Twins. And we're also going to try to do an event at the Minnesota State Fair. I guess it's a pretty popular state fair. And then after that, we're going back down to the Balloon Fiesta. It'll be our 4th year in a row going to Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta, which never gets old. Definitely, if you have an opportunity to go. It's amazing. So
Very good.
Is it a toe behind or like an actual?
Yeah, no, it's toe behind.
Toe behind.
Yeah.
What's he pulling it with?
2,500 Ram.
Diesel.
It is a diesel, isn't it?
it's diesel. Yep.
Yeah. What's the fuel like? Just for.
Well, that's another good.
Towing, we get about 10 miles per gallon.
Huh?
Towing, we get about 10 miles per gallon. Not towing, we get 15 to 17.
Okay.
It's not terrible.
The prices are half. That's prices.
Yeah, I think diesel right now we're paying about $4.30 down here. Texas,
Not that much of a half.
I'm trying to convince Courtney to stay in Texas for the next winter because we paid $2.72 a gallon in Texas for diesel. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Food was cheap, gas was cheap.
When this is all said and done, where are you gonna pull up to, and where's gonna be home? Is it
We
gonna
don't
be South
know.
Dakota?
It will not be South Dakota. I can promise you
No,
that.
really.
No.
It's
I mean,
beautiful up there.
it's absolutely stunning up there. It's our favorite state to visit.
I would want to live there.
It's just the winters are just so long and
winters are-
harsh. I could totally. We've talked about having like a summer home up there or a piece of property. We can bring the RV up there or something, and then having a house down south. I've
That's what
fallen
your
in love.
residency is right now. It still is
Yep.
South Dakota, right? Yeah.
Yep.
'Cause it's like really cheap. You have to be there like a day a year.
Yeah, it's cheap. There's no income tax up there. The overall process of becoming a South Dakota resident is super easy. It's a beautiful state. Like has such diverse terrain and it's incredible. We're going to spend
I've
about a
been
week
there.
or two.
I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was great.
And it gets hot in the summer.
Huh?
At least the eastern side of South Dakota gets very hot in the summer.
Yeah.
We're there, it was 110. So
I was in Lower Brule. We were on a reservation, and it was pretty hot.
Yeah.
It was pretty hot. All right, so let's field one more question before I'm gonna let you go, Brian.
Yep.
And one of the things that I knew that you had said to me when you started on the road is your goals were to hit a national park.
Yep.
In every state, at least one.
Yes.
So what's your favorite, and have you hit one in every state that you've been to?
Yeah, so we've been to 34, I believe, maybe 36, but we've been somewhere in the mid 30s for national parks. Our favorite, geez, we have Acadia. We always go back to. The hiking in Acadia was absolutely unbelievable, and for those in Connecticut, I would definitely plan a trip up there. I can give hiking recommendations. They're easy, but challenging enough that our kids were so engaged with it. Even our littlest was thrilled with it. Bryce Canyon in Utah was absolutely breathtaking. I'd say that was one of the ones where you're like, wow, is this even, I couldn't even envision this being in in the U.S. or the world. It's just mind blowing.
Zion? Did you go to Zion National Park?
Zion was another wow. Just driving in, you don't even have to. I mean, I don't recommend not getting out of your car, but just doing the drive through. It was just Zion was just unworldly as well. The issue with the Utah parks is the weather fluctuates so much. You have to be kind of weather minded and visit them at the right time of the year. We were there right during monsoon season, so we had a couple. I wouldn't say there was no close calls, but you have to be mindful that flash flooding happens pretty quickly there.
What about the Appalachian Trail?
We haven't done any of that. Courtney and I talk about how once we're kid free, that may be something that we may actually try to do ourselves. But haven't done any of that.
Pretty tough driving that camper over those hills.
Yeah.
I
know
that you should have. You should have. You heard the story about when they were in Mexico, and Courtney had to really do some finagling with.
Oh yeah, I remember backing up the trailer.
Yeah, it was like 2 miles.
Yeah. That wasn't in Mexico. That was in I think it was Idaho.
Yeah.
Oh really? I thought that was.
Yeah. No. That was in Idaho. We were supposed to be camping on a forest. Free government land type deal. And I didn't read, I read the reviews. They were all fantastic, but they were all like 4 years old. And it was pre-COVID that the latest review was. And so we were driving and all of a sudden the road was completely washed out and it looked like it had been washed out for some time. So she had to back out. She does all the driving. It's better for our marriage. I can go into that on a different time. But she had to back out the RV 2 miles. And it was tense, but we got it done.
I bet. Well, let's see. You gotta. Hopefully, the next time we see you, we will have you right in the studio.
Yeah, definitely.
That would be really good. And bring at least Tegan. I think that would be fun.
Is he broadcasting from Starlink right now?
Are you on Starlink right now?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's clear, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Their upload speeds are dicey. That's what I was wondering. But
their upload is definitely lacking. It's usually sufficient, but it gets down to like low 2-3 megabytes. But then I'd say that the
Zoom,
the ceiling on it for upload is probably around 30 megabytes per second, whereas the ceiling on the download, I especially in Mexico. I mean, Mexico, we were pulling almost 400 megabytes per second.
Yeah, it's fast on the download, real fast.
Brian, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I've been trying to get you on for a few weeks now, and then all of a sudden yesterday, how about tomorrow? Yeah, it works. Here we are. So
yep.
So have fun in Florida. My best to your family, and I think it's amazing what you guys are doing. Just the fact that you pulled the trigger and did it. With a 2-year expedition that's turned into 4.
Yeah.
And then it's like
4 and counting.
Voting next.
Yeah.
So
it's way more attainable than most people think. So
yeah, and by then the space shuttle will be commercial travel.
Yeah, right.
And we'll be able to go to many places. So
yeah, thanks.
So thank you very much, Brian.
No problem.
All right, dude. We'll talk to you real soon.
All right, take care.
I'm sure I'll text you later about the Red Sox signing nobody.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right,
see you,
Brian. All right, that's Brian Culpin, and I just think it's a cool story.
Yeah.
I think it's we've had him on on and off
quite a
about a
few
year
times.
now. Just we used to work together, and he sold his house, car, and
just packed up.
They did. That's pretty much
family.
it.
That's commendable.
4 boys.
Tough taking a road.
Well, they planned it. It's not like they just jumped and did it. They planned it for like 1.5 2 years or something like, right?
No, it's better for the story. They just did it. Wayne.
No. I don't want to give people ideas out there. You just sell the house, hit the road.
Well, that would
with
be
4
on
kids.
them.
With 4 kids.
Even with a plan, I mean, that's
Yeah.
See, I'm talking the Fox episode. You're talking about PBS. Today, the Culpins are riding this way. I'm like, they've been doing it for 6 years, and they just.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Wayne, thank you.
Yep.
Paul, thank you. Justin, hey, thanks for showing up.
hey, no problem. Anytime.
All right, tomorrow we have First Selectman Tina Falk coming on in, talking about like town stuff. So
And the beautiful and intelligent Kathy Wasilek
Okay.
will be there.
Would you mention about upside down pineapple? You know, it's not just on the road anymore.
Ah.